Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 26 with the Colorado Rockies. Hope you had a lovely holiday, whichever ones you choose to celebrate, and I hope you have a fantastic new year because I won't see you in a new video until 2026. In our previous episode, we went through another off season, and very little has changed in a lot of ways. These are all old friends by now. Matt Mittman's getting another crack at the first base job after a pretty disastrous year, too. These are literally all people that started for us last season, so not much has changed here. Rotation is basically the same. Not a lot changed here, except for Blake Long starting. This is a bit risky, but it's still a very good group. Bullpen, we do have Salvador Barcinas, who broke camp with the club. Brian Casey broke camp with the club. Tony Sarmiento. So we did have quite a few additions, but they're all in the bullpen. We also lost Tom Remy for the first few months of the season, which has really put us in a bit of a pickle. Dave Crawford is probably not ready to be the closer, but he's the guy, at least for now. Looking at our bench, it's mostly last year's team. We did add Jonathan Anderson, mostly because he's a captain, but also because I think he's got a genuine shot to be a useful middle infielder. Steve McDowell's still hanging out with us. Zach Dodson is new. We acquired Mr. Dodson in the Rule 5 draft. Hopefully he'll offer some excellent defense and occasional offense. And then rookie Ken McMartin broke camp with the club. He has every chance to gun for Travis Cooper's job. I feel like Travis Cooper is one of these guys that's not going to have a truly outstanding career. I think so much of his skill relies upon his defense and base running that if those slip even a little bit, I think he's very replaceable. He's also getting quite pricey, so yeah. That's it. We're going to play some baseball. Hopefully this is going to be the season we bring it all together. If we can make it into the postseason, I feel pretty good about our pitching staff. I feel very good about our pitching staff. I'm looking to see Mr. Arguello here take a big step up in his third season. Already he improved significantly from 1 to 2. Now let's see him activate his full potential, giving us another top-tier pitcher. Ruben Santa Cruz probably does not make it to the end of this contract, but we'll see. He has been a very good performer. Maybe he is the pitching Garrett Kozic, and that he pitches above his rating, because he's actually been a very good starting pitcher. But this is a very good rotation. Very solid, but very young bullpen, so we expect to see them grow as the season progresses. And then a very deep lineup. This is kind of the opposite problem as the White Sox series, in that we don't really have as many stars offensively, but we have a lot of very good players. Yasukawa is great. Martinez has been really, really good for us too, although I do concern myself a little bit with his overall skill. I still think he's a very fine player. Somebody I noticed on Reddit was saying that if you don't have at least 60 range for a shortstop, you're basically hurting your team. I don't know whether that's true or not. I suspect it probably is, and I think that's a reasonable thing to say, but I also think it's possible to be successful with shortstop that's not quite that good. Like, I think Anderson here would be fine. If, heaven forbid something happened to Yasukawa, I need someone to play shortstop for a bit, I feel pretty good about Jim Anderson taking over that duty. So, honestly, the number one issue that has to be better this year is Matt Mittman needs to get off to a very fast start. Last year was awful. As always, right, the answer is probably somewhere in between. A 1.5 win version of Matt Mittman is something that I will accept, but I am looking for a permanent upgrade at first base. So we definitely have our eyes peeled for that. Maybe it's Sean Zelaya, but probably not. It seems like we've got a ways to go before he's ready. Could be Oscar Arguelles. Very, very possible here. Hoping he has a big year in AAA. I think that's going to be important for us as a franchise to see more people ready to take on these bigger roles here. All right, friends, without any further ado, also Javier Calderon. Very reasonable choice at first base. Very, very reasonable. So options do exist, but I would love for Calderon to get lots of playing time in AAA and then see where we're at come the roster expansion. Let's play some baseball. 3 to 4 weeks for Pat Ginder. That's a shame. Who's next on the relief pitcher list? I question Ryan Burke so hard. I'm not saying he can't be a good pitcher, but his load control does cause me concern. But I guess at this point, it's whoever is the best for the team. It could be Banuelos, actually. It could very well be Jose Banuelos. I think he's a good enough all-around pitcher that I think I'd rather trust him and let Burcher keep working on his control. That's what I'm going to do. Mr. Banuelos, going to be middle reliever, and then I need a new setup guy. I'm just going to leave it like this, actually. Because I don't know who I can trust yet, but over the course of, say, the first month of the season or so, we can start reconfiguring the bullpen. But for right now, that's how I feel. Very, very young bullpen, actually. So hopefully we'll see a lot of growth over the seasons as they work into their roles and we can be pretty special. Waldrop is going to retire. Houston fans are devastated. Phil Harbour is casually throwing harder even though he got injured. That's pretty fun. Mittman's power has dropped, but it's his potential power, so maybe that's not the end of the world. Jeff Carr's getting better. Some nice improvements here. Jeff Polson, AJ Dubé. Arguelles got a tiny bit worse. Mark Monroe got significantly better. You're rapidly becoming the kind of guy that we have to find a job for. So I'm going to keep an eye on you, but I think you're a little bit too good to just hang out in the minors. There may be something we need to do there. Calderon got better. That's pretty tasty. Honestly, Monroe could play first. Yeah, I think a big year in AAA, and we start having to make that conversation of how do we get Monroe into the lineup. Too early in the season. I'm not even going to bother looking at the stats. We don't know nothing about nothing yet. Jeremy Turner will be back in a day. That's kind of fun. I'm kind of into it. Turner can return. I'm going to let him, for right now, rehab. I mean, the options obviously are send Sarmiento to the minors or send Kaiser to the minors. I think letting Turner get some rehab in is going to be pretty beneficial. Maybe he'll even improve a little bit while he recovers, so we'll give it a go. And then if we do happen to lose a starting pitcher, I've got myself a ready-made replacement. Okay. Gotta get rid of some high A guys. Tony and Borrego. Where are you guys? Here you are. You suck. Happy to let you depart. Borrego, not terribly great. Who else? Fernandez and Blair. Fernandez isn't the worst, but he's not that great. I mean, I guess there's the whole, he was a 4th round draft pick. Kyle Peach had an amazing season. Am I ever actually going to play Shinji Matsumoto? Probably not. Does anybody want him? Is anybody hankering for him? Can I get a prospect, please? Just a singular prospect of any description? No, that's too much to ask. Okay. Matsumoto, my friend, I'm going to go ahead and tell you goodbye. Because I think Fernandez is good enough to work his way up the system here. All right. Blair and Martin. Blair sucks. It could be Martine, actually. What is your nationality? Oh, you're an American from Maryland. You're probably not Martine. You could be. Norinaga Sato. Nope. And then I don't remember the last guy. It might have been Nettles, but I wasn't paying attention. It was Carlos Jimenez. He's fine. All right, let's move some people up out of high A. Celaya, Massengill, Avila, Teles, Canucks, Meyer, and Prieto. And then we're going to get some minor leaguers called up. Schilling is 22. He should be in an A-ball already. Mike King has never played professionally yet, so I'm going to be a little more hesitant with him. Alex Sanchez can get called up. Leo Castellanos, Danny Martinez. Gonzalez, Montujano, Potter, Kio, Andres Bueno. Hopefully he turns out to be muy bueno. We can only hope. All right. Woderchick, you suck. Who else has to go? Bobby Lopez. He's not very good. Kalapi? Koyopi? Probably not Koyopi. Look, we're at the point in the game where these are all fictional people anyway. So we can tell him goodbye. 20th round draft pick, draft system in shambles. Acevedo, Joel Acevedo. His control is so terrible, he'll never amount to much. Danny Evans. I mean, he's fine. I can probably let Ken Lawson go. I think any skill he had is departed, and I think Evans is worth at least trying higher in the minors. We call up Villarreal, Solano. Diaz, White. And we'll also call up Ricky Beltran, so you got both catchers, and there we go. Our low minor is actually pretty bad. I think we definitely need some more injections of talent. So I think the draft here is going to be pretty useful. I mean, it usually is useful, right? Like, it's almost always a good thing to be draft involved. 15-0 against the Giants, and yet we are struggling. Pat Ginder, I think, would probably benefit from some rehab time, unless someone in the bullpen is just utterly terrible. I mean, Barcinas is very badly struggling, right? But he's also barely pitched. What is Arguello's problem? He's just getting his brains hammered. too early to make any drastic moves. I think we let Mr. Ginder here go ahead and rehab. And then we can talk to him at the end of his rehab and see how we want to change around the bullpen. I feel like we're struggling to score, which gives me some consternation. Brian Casey's going to miss a couple of weeks. I think that means Ginder gets to return here, and then we just don't have a pitcher. That's fine. So we're last in the NL West, but we're only 5 games out of first. So there is every possibility to make some moves here and see some substantial improvements. Kinder lost a lot of his upside. That's perfectly understandable given his injuries. I'm not that surprised. Jeremy Turner's getting worse. Willie Cantu's getting better. That's fun. So people in the low minors are improving. You'd love to see it. All right. I know we've only had a month and a bit. So offensively, we're not in great shape. It's honestly a large part of his Yasukawa, who is just the icest of ice cold, although Mittman is also struggling. At least he's replacement level this year. Carr and Tanaka both look pretty good. Cooper looks great. Griffin looks pretty bad. Sellers is in real trouble. It's hard to say when you've only had about 150 plate appearances or so to really adequately address this. Yasukawa needs to get back on track. The rest of the lineup will start looking much better when he starts getting on base the way that he should. Not getting a ton of value out of our pitching. I don't think we're staying very deep into games right now. Yeah. Mittman is better. Like, there's no disputing that he is a better hitter this year. He's close to league average, essentially. I think we just kind of let things ride for a bit and then maybe rejuggle the lineup here in June. And we see where that gets us here. I think there's way too much talent on this roster for us to overly concern ourselves. And Arguello is still struggling quite badly. Is there a point where I send him back to AAA, and is that point right now? Like, I don't want to destroy his confidence. And right now he's off to a terrible start. Now, he might figure it out on his own, and that's what I'd like him to do. But he is so far just, he's not pitching well at all. I think I will send him back to AAA. I think letting him rebuild his confidence a bit. We can bring Jeremy Turner back. And then this looks better. I feel like my problem isn't our great performance. It's that if he gets too bad, then we might wreck his development entirely. And I want him to be a great pitcher for years to come. So I cannot have Victor Prado in Rookie League anymore. Or are you Senor Prado? I can promote you, sure. Yeah, I feel like at some point here in the very near future, we're going to have to make some changes to this lineup. Brian Casey's ready to come back. How is Banuelos doing? He's doing just fine. Let's have Brian Casey tune up a bit in the minors. I don't feel any particular need to rush him back at the moment. We need to get the offense online. That's what has to happen here. Turner, stop getting hurt, you stupid shithead. You know what? Either injure yourself completely or pitch through the pain, bro. But either way, I'm not putting you on the IL again. Okay, Barcenas could just blow out his elbow entirely. Okay. Brian Casey returned. Somehow Brian Casey returned. And then we're going to make him a specialist in his spare time. Banuelos is pitching well enough. I could make him the second setup guy. I just kind of want to let people cook right now, though. I don't want to mess with stuff. Aw, poor Bob Long. Eric Riddick. Eric Riddick is not that good. I mean, I know he's a really good reliever and everything, but he's being paid comically huge amounts of money. And that's just not very smart. It's not. Hey, it's the other Bobby Pena. Taylor put in the cooler. Okay. All right. How injured is Eric Griffin? He's going to miss 6 weeks. Okay. You got to drag it all the way, moron. All right. So between Hunt, Conover, and Santiago, who is the most ready to be a major league catcher? I think Conover is fine. I think Hunt is fine, and I think Santiago is fine. I think Santiago's leadership makes him a pretty great backup catcher. Do I trust Dodson to be the starting catcher? There's only one way to find out, I guess. And then Mr. Santiago. Let's get you in there. We're almost done with May. Is Yasukawa turning it around? He's getting closer. All right, Mitman, it's your moment of truth. If you're still struggling, I'd probably try out Calderon at this point. Yasukawa is getting worse as he gets older. That makes me sad. It makes me very sad. But some of my younger guys are getting better. That's cool. That's quite neat. Eddie Lyons is hitter of the month. Okay, fine. Midman is actually doing very well. Okay, so Midman is not the problem. What is Carlos Martinez's problem this year? All right, I'm not going to take Martinez out of the lineup. I think he's too important for that, but I'm not going to let him hit second anymore. Is anybody else worthy of hitting second? I think actually Mittman is. And then I think Carr in particular needs to be bumped up, as should Tanaka. There you go. Ken McMartin is struggling a bit. Dodson is doing okay. He's not doing great, but he's doing okay. Fujimoto is such an interesting player because he is obviously very bad at making consistent contact, but because he's so good with power, I still feel obligated to keep him in the lineup. So that's what we're going to do here. Jim Sellers looks pretty good too. Yeah. I think as Yasukawa gets to what we expect out of him, the rest of the lineup's going to look much better. But I do appreciate that Matt Mittman has essentially reclaimed his career. If the dude hits 290, I'm completely fine with what he brings to the table. And he's not in danger of losing his job. Let's, pitching-wise. Pitching. Turner is struggling, but he's also barely pitched. How's Arguello doing in the minors? He's actually adjusting very well. This is still not great, but it is substantially better than he was doing in the major leagues. Substantially better. So we're going to let him cook a little bit. We're going to let him hang out. Did Mark Monroe somehow add upside? He did. Okay, this is becoming a guy I have to find a spot for. He is just a professional hitter. He's very, very good at his job. Yeah, like if he keeps having an incredible season, we're gonna have to make a spot for him because he's too good to just ride the pine in the minor leagues. I think he'd be a great second baseman. Maybe not as good as Tanaka, but I think he would be a great second baseman. I could put him at first. It would seem to be a bit of a waste to put him at first, but it could be done. We could replace Sellers at some stage. So, not bad for a fourth round draft pick. All right, friends, let's advance some more time, I think. I could have Rafael Calderon, Marcos, something or other. It was a really long name. This guy. Yeah, he sucks. Oh, somebody else I think I was meant to cut. Rafael Gomez. You suck. Anybody having a great year in high A? Sean Zelaya absolutely is. So he gets promoted to double A. And then who's having the best year in high A? It's RJ Schilling. Let's promote him too. And now we're all squared away. Neat. I can't have Felipe Aguirre. I saw Lorenzo Torres. Felipe Aguirre has really very little to offer me. Was it also Jesus Reyes and Jamie Amaya or Jaime Amaya? I think so. Nice. All right, friends, let's go to the combine. I trust you, Scotty McScoutface. We can do it. I just need Yasukawa to get online. I think that is what is holding us back more than anything. We know this is not his normal skill level, right? We just need him to start getting on base, which makes the rest of the team significantly more effective. Like, we are one sustained hot streak away from getting first place in the division, so I'm not that bothered by it. Mark Monroe, the number 10 prospect in the majors. My bench coach is getting ready to head out. I think because of his great relationship with the players, I think we keep him. I think that's very reasonable. I think that's a good choice. I feel it is appropriate. And then we want to go ahead and offer all the minor league coaches new jobs. 7 people are a little bit sus. Parker Gwynn, I would love for you to stick around. He wanted a pretty big raise. I guess that makes sense. Chris Johnson also having a pretty good career as a manager. Got to cultivate that talent, right? Brent Stewart's pretty great too, right? Yeah, he's reasonably good. I think Brent Stewart actually needs to be a manager, but I think he's fine as a pitching coach. I'm not that worried about it. Matt Yorkin has been fantastic. A true legend in this game. Jose Leon has been pretty great too. I think we can let him enjoy the last couple years of his career. Pedro Gonzalez has also been pretty great, so yeah. We've had a very successful minor league system, and I think it's mostly because of how much direct control we've taken. But you'll notice we have lots of like managers of the year in the minors, so it's great to see that. Truly fantastic. Phil Harbour is ready to return back. I think letting him rehab is also smart. Sarmiento is injured for about a week. That's fine. Do we want to keep Eric Griffin at this point? Dodson is doing well enough, and so is Santiago. I think Griffin has just lost his chance. In 2 partial seasons with the Rockies, he's been uninspiring. We can let him go to AAA. I have 2 people in AA now. Is anybody badly struggling? Yeah, Fernando Roca, go down to high A. Charlie Condon his 400th home run. That's pretty sweet. He's not remotely a Hall of Famer, I don't think, but it's cool that he's hit 400 homers. I think even if he had 500 homers, I don't think he's really got a genuine shot to make the Hall of Fame. I hope you had a nice holiday. I actually got a Steam Deck, but I got it a while ago. I actually bought it on Cyber Monday. But I also got a digital notebook from my wife. I got an Ancestry.com kit, so I can see what's going on in my genes. I got a blanket for the Buckeyes, so it was pretty good holiday. Didn't go anywhere, just me, my wife, and my guinea pigs, and that's really all I want. That's all you need, really. Beatles very famously said guinea pigs are all you need. It's true, you can look it up. Tanaka looks amazing. Okay, at what point does Fujimoto get replaced? I feel like making him the cleanup guy is hurting us because he's just not putting the ball in play often enough. I'm going to swap you with Tanaka. And we're going to see if that makes a difference. I'm also going to move up Travis Cooper, who's actually having a really good season. There we go. Martinez is still struggling kind of badly. Ken McMartin has not had a great start to his career. But he's got time. Mimin's cooling off a little bit. I still don't think he's our permanent solution at first base, but I think he's a solution at first base. I think Calderon is probably my ideal solution at first base, but he's got to really earn it. And he's struggling pretty badly in AAA. That's not a great look. The man of mitts. Steve McDowell is there. Could Mark Monroe play the outfield? Not well. I mean, I could easily. I mean, I guess what I could is I could bench Fujimoto. I could let Card play right field and then bring up Monroe to be the DH. I think he would offer a pretty big spark just because of his offensive skill package. But I don't know about losing Fujimoto entirely. I could just bench him. When Monroe's been such a good hitter. Do I do the unthinkable and bench Yasukawa? Is that what I'm thinking about? The thing is, I think Monroe's not a very good shortstop. I think he's fine, but that's not really what he's here for. Who do I get rid of? It's probably Steve McDowell. Okay, so here's my idea. Fujimoto goes to the bench. McDowell goes to the minors. Mark Monroe gets called up and is the designated hitter. Carr plays right field. Or Carr goes to the bench and we keep Fujimoto. That seems kind of dumb. That seems pretty short-sighted. I think I'd rather just bench Carr. Okay, look at this offensively. He is slightly above average. He's actually quite a bit below average. Actually, I guess it will be Fujimoto that gets benched. It hurts our defense slightly, but I still think it's worth it. Yeah, let's get Monroe up in the majors, and let's let this guy DH for us. Okay. So Carr's going to play right. Fujimoto gets benched, and Monroe DHs. Or do we keep Fujimoto and bench Carlos Martinez? I think that's an even better idea, because Carlos Martinez is really struggling. Like, really badly. And I think Fujimoto still offers us some upside because of his power. Oops. And then McMartin, do you get back in there and play center field? Yeah, we're gonna try benching Martinez and see if benching him makes a difference here. That's my plan. Is this too much? I don't know, but I do know that when you're hitting as badly as they have been, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to keep just sucking it up and hoping for the best. Something has to change, and maybe that's good enough. All right, Sarmiento, thank you for your service. Far Harbor. I called him Farber. I guess that could be his name if we wanted it to be. Far Harbor. He's a downloadable content piece. All right, prospect roster. Nobody from Wrong league. Derp. Jeff Polson made it. Nice. You've got to give me at least one All-Star. You know that's required. It's Yasukawa. Well, I guess it's turning it around. None of my pitchers made it? That's a little surprising, but maybe they don't deserve it. Danny Roque can make it. Travis Cooper should have gotten an All-Star appearance, actually. Jim Sellers could make an argument, too. Like, come on, like, Miguel Tejada sucks. Easily Travis Cooper could have gotten that spot. Then again, I guess that's Arizona's only dude. Honestly, we've been such a disappointing team this year that I'm not that annoyed that we didn't get more postseason or All-Stars. Tom Remy getting ready to come back is gigantic news. Okay, Mike Mullet, you're going back to the minors. You're going to figure out how to start throwing strikes. Does Crawford stay closer? I think he can very easily stay the closer for the present. And we can let Mr. Tom Remy be the setup guy. I think Crawford has done well enough that I don't feel particularly in a big rush to replace him. Okay. We're only 6 games. Santa? Oh, it's Ian. Bummer. But I guess, we've already had Christmas for those of you that are our Christmas people. I guess it's probably fine. Do I have lots of money still? I think I still have lots of money, right? I have a gigantic sack of cash. All right, we want the very best prospect regardless of position here. I see some really nice choices here. All right, let's take a look at Kevin Bressler. Kevin Bressler is really, really, really good. Tremendous velocity. Nice mix of pitches. Good stuff happening here. Let's see, called Blue Sleeve, which is a pretty great name. I mean, this is the kind of guy that you want, right? You want an ace-level pitcher. Bressler is your guy. There is Eric Thompson, who's got a chance to be a really good hitter. Same for Jesse Alexander. Jesse Alexander actually like a lot. He doesn't really have a flaw in his offensive game, and if he's a terrible third baseman shortstop, there's always first. I think Bressler is such a sublimely brilliant pitcher that I think I have to take him. I think Bressler is my first round pick. But if Thompson falls to the second round, I will draft the shit out of him. Same for Alexander. They both slipped. They both got taken. Well, that's not unsurprising. You want to go offense with this pick. Why don't we like Noah Batson? Look, there's a world in which Noah Batson is a truly exceptional player. But he's going to be he has a very obvious weakness. I don't like that his gap power is low, too. Like, these both concern me. But I don't think Mike Sanchez is any better. At least Joey Mormon's got the elite gap power too, which I think makes him much more takeable. So I will take him. Batson keeps falling. He'll probably fall a little bit more if I let him. You like Andy Brewer, huh? I also like Andy Brewer. Andy Brewer it is. If Batson is still there in the 4th round, I'll draft him. Okay, somebody took him. I'm very curious to see what Mr. Batson does in his career. I'm going to make him a not draft pick. See what happens. Do we like Jason Mettinger? He's alright. I like Justin Fisher, I guess. I do like Justin Fisher. I think he's very well-rounded, and I think that makes him a very fine choice. Alright. John Rawlis wants lots of money. He is a hard-throwing lefty. I am more than happy to pay him what he's asking for. I think he's got a really nice future. And it's only money, right? It's only money. I think Bresler is a great pick. These other guys, I'm a little bit less positive about. Not saying they're bad players, but I'm saying that I think their upsides are substantially lower, but I think they're still pretty good. If I wanted Chris McLaughlin, I could have him. I don't want him, though. That's not true. He's actually a pretty good hitter. He's actually a really good hitter. And all it's going to take is for him to get a little bit of help defensively, and then we look really good. Like, it looks like a smart decision, so I think I will draft him. And then we're going to get toolsy here. Who's got the best BABIP in the draft? Who is best contact hitter in the draft? I'm being told by Google Drive that it hasn't been able to upload something. I will worry about it later. Alex Chavez is pretty good. I think we're going to draft him. I think I'm not even going to think about it. I think he's pretty good all around, and so is therefore worthy of my time. Ricky King, hard no. Very hard, very no. Tim Brackett's alright. We think Nick Pearson is the best guy remaining in the draft. I agree. I think he's a very fine prospect. Does, of course, Uber Lady stroke? Just for that name, I'm going to draft you. For certain. They'll make it Dave Munoz here. He's actually very, very good. Very, very good. And then we're going to grab ourselves a pitcher, I think. Mike Radigan. I don't hate him. I don't think he is necessarily a great pitcher, but I think he's a pretty solid one, and so I think we'll draft him. Tim, well, you guys think you deserve money? That's gross. The Grim Reaper, Bert Karin. He's got a lot of upside. Like, he always has a very obvious big problem here. But I think because of his fantastic nickname potential. Let me very quickly make sure that he is given the appropriate nickname. I don't remember if I get him instantly or if I have to wait. I'm gonna have to wait. We'll see here. Yes. Your nickname is now the Grim. No, wait. No, you'd be the Ferryman. Yeah. That's right. How dare I forget my Greek mythology? How dare I? We're into the 12th round now. You want me to take Tyler Shaw? Sight unseen. I'm in. Are there any really good hitters left? Not really. Tyler Bourgeois is fine. He's not great, but he's fine. We can take Janos here in the 15th round. I think that's fine. I don't think he's got very much going for him, but I'm willing to try it out. Let's look at defense now. Position ratings. Where did I put it? Here it is. I'm going to take Ryan Child here. Carousel's a good defensive shortstop. And then we're also going to take John Gargoni here. And we'll also grab Terry Brackett. And then we're going to switch back to the main draft view, and we're going to let our scouting director pick the last two. You want Ryan Meyer? You can have him. Want to add Chris Justice? What an incredible name. I'm in. We are so in. You would like at least 8.5 million. What if I gave you 10 million? I'm really excited about how Mark Monroe does. I think he's such a professional hitter that I think getting him some at-bats is really going to give us a shot in the arm. Let's see what goes on, though. I need the real Yasukawa, and I need the real Carlos Martinez. I also need Blake Long not to blow out his arm. All right, Arguello, I will bring you back. If you have pitched well, you have pitched very well in AAA. You've earned your return to the major leagues. Welcome back, Arguello. McLaughlin instantly takes a signing offer. I am not at all surprised. Oh, Canarella is on the move. It's not been a great career for him since he left Colorado. Really, his rookie year was his best year, and it's all been downhill since there. Damn. You are a really good player, though, for at least a brief moment. Michael Kennedy has played in the major leagues. I am uninterested in him. If people want Eric Griffin, I will trade him, though. I don't think Griffin is especially interesting, given that I have quite a few catching prospects. So people are like, fuck yeah, Eric Griffin. I can accommodate that. If I asked for a package of prospects, what would it look like? I can get a green and a yellow. Nope. I can't do that one. Stephen Hooks is fine. I feel like I'm probably better off just looking at a single player, though. I cannot take Frank Collado. Stop offering him. I could take Joe Strom. I'm not opposed to that. Paul Heyer is a pretty good relief pitcher, though. And I feel like I'd rather get Heyer unless I could get Strom and someone else. I think we're going to take Paul here. Done. Do I have any pending free agents? Oh, I need to make Eric Griffin an ex-Rocky to appropriately flag his time with us. I kind of Ken McMillan would be great so that I could replace Travis Cooper. Travis Cooper has actually been an essential piece to my team. So that didn't work out for McMillan. Then again, a lot of things have not worked out for us this season. They really haven't. Chicago traded Grady Emerson. How have you been, buddy? Not great. Not very good. Excuse me. Is there anybody I don't intend on keeping? Not really. Oh, we've got plenty of cash. And nobody obviously seems to me like somebody I'm willing to move on from. John Kaiser is probably one of those guys. In point of fact, so is Cody Kessner. I think both of them are going to get very expensive for no real good reason. Do the people want John Kaiser? Is this something that people are like, fuck yeah? Give me that Kaiser goodness? No, nobody wants him. That's not a surprise. I think I just don't do anything here at the deadline. I don't think I have anybody that I feel obligated to trade. I mean, the ultimate move would be trading Yasukawa, but I think that would be comically stupid, especially as he's starting to figure it out. He's too important to the club. Nobody's going to want Carlos Martinez. And also, like, there's a great player in here, right? We know that that player exists. Fans would be ultra bummed if I traded him. Good to know. Yeah, I just feel like there's nobody here that obviously is a trade candidate. Maybe Tom Remy, maybe Travis Cooper, but Cooper is playing very, very well. And I think I can't afford to replace him unless I know McMillan can handle the job. McMartin. I keep calling McMillan just McMartin. He's been okay, right? He hasn't been like a train wreck or anything, but he hasn't been what we needed. So I think we're just going to vibe here and see if people make us interesting offers. I think maybe this is just going to be a very quiet deadline for us, and I think that's perfectly acceptable. Well, I did get an offer here. Jorge Ruiz. I'll be honest, this is a deal I'd strongly consider if I was playing with the correct rules, but I'm not. And since he has played in the majors, I cannot accept your actually very reasonable deal. Sorry, guys. Oh well. Yeah, I just think at this point, it's been a disappointing season for a lot of my players. And I think what's going to get us into the postseason is them figuring it out. It's not necessarily adding in shiny new players that are obviously going to dominate. Dylan Patrick Baxter is getting slightly better. Maybe getting better at being a serial killer too. Who knows? Maybe he's like Dexter. That'd be kind of neat, you know? Arguello is getting better. Turner really isn't. Turner's had 80 innings to be a good pitcher, and he just hasn't been. I guess he's been alright. In terms of WAR, he's been reasonable. Phil Harbor's struggling, but he's also barely pitched. It's going to take him some time to figure it all out. Okay. Fine. Fujimoto hits 20 home runs, 8th in the lineup. I like Monroe's jib so far. I think he's been fairly effective. Not anything truly special, but pretty good. Let's have him start racking up those at-bats. I need one of you guys to catch on fire. I think that's what has to happen for us to be what we need to be. Am I just fooling myself with Jeff Carr? Am I tricking myself that he is a worthy dude? Yeah, we can win like a few games in a row. Okay, Turner is out. This doesn't exactly break my heart because I've got lots of good starting pitching options in the minors here. I think Kamani Lyons is probably my pick here. That's 2 consecutive great years in AAA. I think that's enough to earn yourself a chance to pitch with the big boys in the majors. Yeah, Arguello is improving substantially with each appearance. So we're gonna keep letting him hone his craft. I think that trip to the minors really was good for him. Is there a realistic path to the postseason if I don't win the division? I don't think that there is. Ginder is throwing harder. That's fun. Well, he will throw harder, maybe. Mark Monroe's improving. Carr is fine. McMartin is getting better. Oscar Crespo improved a little bit. Neat. All right. What are our chances of making the postseason right now? I don't think they're great. We have a 21% chance of making the postseason. We've got a surprisingly challenging schedule for the month of September, so it's going to be quite difficult. I'm going to call up Mullet for sure. And maybe Baxter too. Maybe. Oh, Ryan Birch did the one thing I asked him to do, which is get better at control. So I think we're going to add both you and his middle relievers here. Do I trust Brian Casey enough to give him more work? Probably not. Let's just keep riding the hot hand. I think that's fine. Ooh, we are melting down at the wrong time of the year, guys. And we've been eliminated. I mean, finishing 500 isn't the end of the world, but it's obviously not good enough. This is a team that should be capable of doing a lot of damage in the postseason, but we can't even make it there. And the problem is very simple. 2 people were ice cold. And Yasukawa came out of it, and Martinez never did. Francisco Andrade, I think, would be a very fine promotion candidate. Yeah, let's give Andrade his flowers. Like, he can be my AAA pitching coach. Oops. Hit the wrong button. Sorry, buddy. Game. There. Between Stewart and Ryan Hernandez, I think I like Ryan Hernandez slightly more. But I think it's going to be Stewart just because he's so young. Anthony Reyes, welcome to High A. And then let's get ourselves a new pitching coach. Like, nobody else is looking for a pitching coach right now, so we should be able to get one for fairly inexpensive. Tommy McLean, we can give you a 2-year deal. DJ B. Craw? Is that literally what people call Brandon Crawford? It seems unlikely, but hey, people can call themselves whatever they want. Damn, it's the White Sox in the Hollow in the World Series. And the Barbs. And the White Sox just fucking swept them. Wow. The White Sox are fantastic this season. Good for them. It is an average score because we were an average team. That's how it be sometimes. My first base coach retired, so we're going to have to find ourselves a new first base coach. We can do that next episode. Easy. All right. So what happened this season? Why did we struggle as much as we did? Well, if we look at our very good batting stats, Yasukawa ended up being what we normally expect, although his bat was a bit light. He made up for it by stealing a lot more bases and still playing great defense. Like, Yasukawa is excellent. Tanaka was good, Cooper was good, Sellers was good. I like what I saw out of Mark Monroe in his first season. Want to see more, but very, very good work. I think Matt Mittman probably needs to be replaced. I don't think he's helping as much as we might like. He's fine. I think the single biggest story this year was Carlos Martinez being utterly miserable. Like, he cost us 2 wins this year. He just could not hit baseballs to save his life. Now, he's going to get an opportunity next year to rebuild his brand, but this was completely and unexpectedly awful. And that really concerns me. Really concerns me. Levy, Santa Cruz, Roque were all very good. Dave Crawford proved to be a reliable closer. So good performances out of most of the bullpen. I need Arguello to figure out what he's doing in the major leagues. Now, I know his yard looks bad, but remember it used to be so much worse. I need to see him really shine next season because we need another top tier pitcher. Now, I think our top three are as good as anybody's, and if we'd made it in the postseason, I think we could have done a lot of damage. But I definitely think we're going to need some help with the offense. Now, that help may come in the form of Carlos Martinez returning and being like, oh yeah, I know how to play baseball. Should be great. Why does Jeff Carr only look like he's slightly above average? He's a good outfielder. I guess his base running isn't that good, but I mean, like when you got people that easily hit 50 home runs a year, maybe Jeff Carr isn't that impressive, but maybe it's fine for now. Cooper's a really good center fielder. He's really, really good. Yeah. I mean, this is probably going to happen. It just sucks that Carlos Martinez is the one that completely vanished this year. Also, Fujimoto. This is the problem with players like Fujimoto. This will always be the problem with players like Fujimoto. When he is connecting with the ball, he is doing a lot of damage with it. Almost half of his at-bats ended in strikeouts. I feel like keeping Fujimoto on the team at the chance he might run into some extra baseballs is probably stupid. I want power in this lineup, but I don't want it if that power can't be used effectively. Now, my problem is that I don't have any power in the minor leagues. So, other than Steve McDowell, who's not going to be playing either, I don't think. Yeah, because McDowell can draw walks, he's a little more valuable to me than Fujimoto. Then again, McDowell can't play the outfield. Yeah, I think we probably trade Fujimoto. I need to think about it. We need to get power into this team desperately, and I don't know where that power comes from. Maybe it's just telling Steve McDowell you can play first base and then letting Matt Mittman play DH or something. Maybe we trade Mittman and bring up Calderon, although Calderon is injured. It's going to miss 7 weeks. Hmm. Hmm. Oscar Castellanos had a pretty amazing season. I'm going to offer you a minor league deal right now to stay with the club. I feel like we haven't been able to find that guy that's got effortless power, but also puts the ball in play a lot. I feel like every time we get a power guy, it's a guy like Fujimoto. Now, Mittman's been pretty good. If this is Mittman's production, I think it's acceptable. I still want more, but I don't know where more comes from. Like, the perfect world is one in which Fujimoto randomly hits 250 one season. Does that world exist? Probably not. I don't know. It's such a good, deep team from top to bottom, and there's a wide variety of players that can help us out. But what we don't have is we don't really have those players that can take over a game. Um, which is a bummer. Who's a better defender, Sellers or Monroe? It's Monroe. That's one way you can improve the team. We'll let Monroe play third, but I just want him to hit. If he hits, I'll play him anywhere. We finished fourth in home runs as a team. I just don't have that guy that can take over a series. I don't think we've had one of those in a while. Naganori Ito was pretty close to being that guy. If we take a look at my prospect pipeline, and we look at Los Rockies, Armando Alvarez is pretty good, but he's super far from the major leagues. Alex Jaramillo, same story. Very good, very far from the majors. Polson is pretty close to the majors. He's pretty good. Andres Bueno, Justin Fisher. These are guys that I just drafted. You can't play the outfield, can you, Polson? Not well. I think you're a pretty solid hitter, though, so I definitely intend to audition you when a spot opens up. Like, you could easily play first base for us. We could have made the postseason. We weren't as bad as that, but we weren't good enough. So, yeah. 3 games out of a wild card slot. We choked at the wrong time. That's all she wrote. How do we get better? Truly don't know. I hope we can maybe get an international free agent that could change things a bit for us. Somebody who can carry us offensively for a couple of seasons. Carlos Martinez can figure out how to fucking play baseball again. That would be lovely. I'm still lacking a catcher. I feel like catcher is something I've put a lot of resources into, yet I haven't gotten a very big return on it. Avila, I'm going to promote you now so I don't forget. One of these catchers is going up to high A. It's obviously Dusty Lee, who had an incredible season. There we go. Oh, sorry, that was high A. That's what we were looking for. Prado can get promoted. And let's promote Andy Brewer, I think. No, Jeremy Brewer can be the guy that gets promoted. Andy Brewer's a new draftee. I'm not going to mess with this stuff too much. We're going to worry about it next episode. But for right now... yeah. Okay, we'll do it next episode. I'm going to spend some time on that. And then we can discuss what to do with our minors. I still got talented pitchers waiting for opportunities. The problem is I don't have great hitters. Man, Steve McDowell would be the answer to so many of my problems if he could just hit the baseball. The problem is... oh, excuse me. I don't know whether he ever will. I don't know whether there is an all-star caliber hitter in Steve McDowell's body. There probably isn't. Probably isn't. Mm. Yeah, Polson's got a chance to be a new first baseman. Argulis has a chance. Demers has no chance. Eddie Lyons is fine. I feel like Carlos Martinez is probably somebody that I should try to trade, huh? It's gonna make the fans sad, but I think... See, the fact his BABIP was so terrible gives me some hope that maybe this is just a bad season and that he can get back to being a 3-win player again. How the fuck did you play second base randomly? What? Is it a platoon or were you just terrible this year? No, you were just terrible. There's basically nothing redeeming about you this season. Is there even a market for you? Am I overreacting? Maybe. But I don't think I'm overreacting that much. I just want to see what's on offer here. This isn't good enough, plus Zavala is illegal. I can't have him. Yeah, this is purely a salary dump, and that is not something I'm willing to do. I have plenty of money. That is not my concern. My concern is how do I get the most out of the roster that I've got? And that's the topic for the next episode. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you have, please remember to like and subscribe. Very much helps the channel. Always feel free to comment. Love hearing from you all. See what you've got to say. But until next time, my friends, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.